Hello there, people of the internet. I am a military surplus channel. I'm sure that you guys know that if you've been around for any length of time. We talk about things like this right here. So if you like things like this right here, subscribe to the channel, and you are definitely among the right crowd because we deal with that stuff all the time. But today we're doing something a little bit different. I had somebody ask, hey, instead of talking about old rifles, could you potentially talk about shotguns and their versatility and their capabilities, etc., etc. So we're actually going to go ahead and take a moment to do that. I definitely have shown off plenty of shotguns on the channel, but I don't really delve with shotguns all that much. I really should do more shotgun stuff on video. I actually play with shotguns pretty often because they're just such a really versatile tool, and the shells are very easy to make, and I'm not really going to go into reloading shotgun shells on this video. We're more or less going to talk about what you can and cannot do with a shotgun. So the reality is, if you can only have one firearm, the shotgun is probably going to be your best bet. I would put it above 22 long rifle because 22 long rifle does definitely have its capabilities, but it is limited in power, whereas shotguns, you can get yourself a very lightweight load or very heavy powerful load, depending on what it is that you're wanting to do. So let's go ahead and dive into that right there. What that means is that shotguns have a variety of different cartridges that you can use. In this particular case, they're called shotgun shells, that you can use for whatever job it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Like, for example, if you're going to be going after something small, like birds or squirrels or raccoons or something like that, then shotguns actually have an extremely light load called bird shot, or even target loads, or, you know, they all generally have that same connotation. And what that is your shotgun shell filled with very small pellets. They're like, oh, I don't know, a fourth of the size of like BBs from a BB gun. And the shotgun fires those downrange, and that should be able to pepper whatever it is that you're going after, and if it's small enough, it'll take it out, especially in close ranges. Those types of shotgun shells tend to not be very powerful and not very capable out at long distances, but if you have a shotgun that you are looking to use for up close and personal situations, such as discarding varmints, or such as trying to gather small game, or whatever it is that you're looking to use that shotgun for, and you're not looking to have to deal with a whole lot of recoil. A lot of people tell me shotguns have a lot of recoil. You could get lighter weight loads to help reduce that recoil some. If you're looking to do any of those things, then your lighter weight bird shot or target load might be your best option. Now, if you're looking to go after something a little bit larger, like some medium game or even potentially even large game, depending on your ranges and capabilities, or you want to use a shotgun for defensive purposes, then they have setups for that. This is buckshot, and what it basically is it is a bunch of essentially lead ball bearings that are inside of this thing, and these will fire out of your shotgun and go down range and do a little spread down range that should impact your targets very effectively, depending on your range and depending on what choke you have inside of your shotgun. I'm trying to make this video as simple as possible, so if you're a shotgun expert and you're watching this and you're like, wow, he is really using some really bare bones layman's terms, yeah, that's on purpose for people who don't necessarily know a lot about shotguns. So just bear that in mind. This is for people who don't know a lot. So I'm trying to pick my words very carefully. So these lead ball bearing looking things, they're going to go down range and they're going to impact your target. Depending on what shotgun loading it is that you have, you're going to have probably about 9. That's going to be the most common amount of pellets for your buckshot in this particular case. That is what this type of load is called. Now, if you don't like full-fledged, full-power buckshots because it is definitely a harder recoiling round in comparison to some other lighter weight birdshot loads, then you can actually go out and get reduced recoil buckshot loads. This is double-aught buck, 8 pellet, and it is reduced recoil. Hopefully that's coming up all right on camera and you guys can see that. This is significantly lighter recoiling than something like a full-power buckshot round. Now, granted, you're going to have less pellets. This is an 8 pellet shot as opposed to a 9 pellet shot, but that lack of mass, that much less mass, means that you get yourself a lighter recoiling round. Now, if you find that buckshot is just not powerful enough to handle whatever it is that you're trying to handle, you can go out and get yourself a full-fledged slug. This is a solid piece of lead going down range, and it's going to impact your target with some pretty significant authority. This particular one is a, let's see, what's the box say? This is a 1-ounce slug, so it's definitely going to smack with some force down range. So if buckshot is not what you want and you don't want multiple pellets going down range, each one of these pellets is going to have roughly the same energy transfer as, say, a 9mm handgun round versus something like this right here, which is unbelievably massive going down range. I can't quite remember what actual caliber this is, but I think it's somewhere around 75 caliber, if memory serves me correctly. I don't think it's quite 75 caliber, but somewhere around that ballpark. One of the big benefits for shotguns is that you can, whenever you go out to buy your shotgun shell ammunition, depending on the amount of money that you have and what it is that you're looking for, you can go out and get yourself little small boxes like this right here. Each of these holds 5 rounds of shotgun shells, and they got information right on the box for the shells that are held within. So you have all the information that you need, or you can go out and get yourself much larger, here we go, this will work, much larger boxes. This right here is 25 rounds held inside of a box, and these are 25 rounds of shotgun shells. They tell you all the information. This particular loading travels at about 1,300 or so feet per second. That's all the information that you need right there. Or you could buy like bulk boxes with like 100 shotgun shells in them, like I said, depending on the amount of money that you have. Now, the beauty about shotgun shells is they're really customizable and universal. If we have something like this lightweight target load, which is not very powerful, not going very fast, it's not going to be very effective, and you decided to turn this into, say, a cut shell, which I cannot do because YouTube would count that as modifications, but if you decided to turn this into a cut shell, I'm sure you can do some research and figure that out, that turns this birdshot, or target load, into a very effective slug to really significantly increase the capabilities of this round. Now, this right here is still going to have not a whole lot of recoiling. It's not going to be as powerful or effective as an actual slug. So just bear that in mind. That right there is definitely a hack job, with lack of better terminology. That's what I'm going to call it. It's a hack job. A throw together, if you will. Here we go. This is perfect. Every shotgun owner has the bag of just random miscellaneous shells. Let's see if I can find myself. Here we go. If you decide that your more powerful shotgun slugs are not going to be powerful enough for what it is that you need, more often than not, you'll be able to find a longer shotgun shell. So these right here are 2 3/4. That is going to be by a huge margin your most common 12-gauge shotgun shell, but you can actually go out and pick up 3-inch Magnum shotgun shells that are going to launch your projectiles at significantly greater velocities. So these are shotgun shells that are not necessarily something that you can fire in every shotgun. You want to make sure that your shotgun is rated for those types of shotgun shells, but that's a good way to have a much more powerful, much more capable round than what it is that you're using before. So if you want light recoil rounds, guess what? You can get yourself light recoil rounds. If you want yourself birdshot or buckshot, both dramatically lighter recoiling round than the normal 2 3/4-inch alternatives. But if you don't mind that, you get yourself a pretty gosh darn capable system. However, if you don't want something that is that weak, go out and get yourself some slugs. They make all kinds of slugs. They make rifled slugs, non-rifled slugs. You can get yourself rifled shotgun barrels. You can touch out to some significant distances with this. As a matter of fact, I have seen these taken out to about 300 yards, and even with an actual capable rifle, most people are not really all that accurate out at 300 yards. So if that is your limitations, then this right here should serve you adequately well. If you want even more power than that, go out and get yourself some 3-inch Magnum shells, and they even make longer shells than this if your shotgun can handle it. Like I said, pay attention to what your shotgun is and is not capable of doing. But if you want more powerful, there are Magnum versions of those shells. Now, let's say something happens, something goes wrong, and you found yourself in a situation where you can no longer get more ammunition. One of the beautiful things about shotguns, with them having multiple things inside of them, unlike a rifle, which has to be an exact size projectile going down a barrel, you can shove whatever it is that you want inside these shells. If you can manage to shove it into the shell, then the shotgun will fire it. So that is one of the really, really versatile things about the shotgun. If you're going to be reloading these, you can literally grab rocks or screws or washers or cut up some coins, or I mean, the options are literally unlimited. I've made shotgun shells with BBs before because I've had a bunch of BBs from BB guns that I had back in my youth, and I was like, well, I got like 500,000 BBs here that I'm never going to put through a BB gun, so what do I use them for? And I just kind of threw them into a shotgun. If you get yourself a manually operating shotgun like this right here, which I definitely recommend, it's going to be a lot more reliable than a semi-automatic shotgun unless you're getting yourself a really high-end semi-automatic shotgun. And you'll be able to run your reduced recoil loads and your slugs and your, well, everything inside of that pump shotgun without having to worry about reliability issues. But if you get yourself a manually operating shotgun, be it bolt action or pump action or whatever it is, then you can actually run those with black powder, which is significantly easier to make than something like smokeless powder. If you already have a bunch of smokeless powder, good on you, but for longevity purposes, if you end up having to make your own gunpowder, black powder is by far the most easy to make, and this right here is a system that you know is going to run it just fine. So hopefully this video kind of scratched some itches that I know some people were having whenever it came to me talking about shotguns. This right here is definitely a really, really good option to have. Like I said, if you're only going to have one firearm and you're not necessarily a gun guy and you're not going to be able to touch out beyond 300 yards, or you're living in the forest or something, or you're in a situation where you can really make good viable use of this platform, then this might be the best option for you just because of its versatility. Lightweight rounds, heavy rounds, you can do rounds at pretty significantly long ranges, not necessarily like rifle level of long ranges, but long ranges that are long enough to be beyond the capabilities of most people anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then like I said, go ahead and subscribe to the channel because we talk about things like this all the time. That being said, I reckon I'll just do the outro. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate your time. In the links down below, we have a bunch of, well, in the description down below, we got a bunch of links to all sorts of stuff. Go ahead and go check that out, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garrett. It's a shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.